Welcome to GBM Hangover. My name's Chris.
I'm David.
All right,
Here we are.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
So, one of the things, I had ramen tonight, and I checked out a new place, at least new place to me. And I was thinking about, like, how good some, like, really solid food restaurants and places are.
Yeah.
And then I was thinking, like, this could be a really good outlet for a place to go, but it's not super fast.
Okay.
And then I was thinking about, like, you know, some of your go-to restaurants. Like, what's like one of your go-to fast food restaurants?
Fast food restaurants. How fast are we talking?
Like drive-through.
Like real fast.
Yeah.
Oh, geez. Go to fast food real fast. I guess I really like Portillo's. I really like Culver's. I guess if I had to pick, like, go to fast food, you know, those are probably two that I really like. I don't eat them. Taco Bell. I like Taco Bell a lot.
Taco Bell's definitely like, what's your go-to order at Taco Bell?
Oh, it's a great question. That's the one Shug gave us too.
Yeah.
Lately it's been, first of all, there's always soft tacos in there. Like, those are just sort of the add-on. Those are the filler that go in between the other things.
Yeah.
I like the Doritos Locos tacos. Those are banging. It's usually a burrito of some sort.
Right.
It kind of depends on what's hot, like what's new, kind of.
The grilled cheese burrito is fucking...
Right. That's what I mean. Like, so I kind of rotate through whatever burrito I feel like having right there. So it's usually a burrito and then like one or two Doritos Locos tacos and then like one or two soft tacos. So that's kind of my order. It just sort of depends on what I feel like when I come rolling up to the window.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that's kind of, and then it's just like an impulse buy, you know, at that moment.
Every time I'm at Taco Bell, it's an impulse buy.
Kinda, yeah.
Always buy way too much food.
Well, that's the thing, is then you always have to kind of remember, like, usually I've already had dinner.
That's why it's fourth meal.
Exactly. It's fourth meal. So I've already had dinner. So I have to remember, okay, keep it under control, because this is not an actual meal. This is like, you shouldn't be eating this anyway. So like, let's keep this under control. So usually, like, no more than like 4 or 5 items, because that you don't go crazy here.
Yeah.
You know, so.
Oh, no. I mean, Walker and I just picked up some the other night, and, I got a Nachos Bel Grande. I got 2 Gita Gordita Crunches. I got like the grilled cheese burrito right now. It's like one of my favorites.
That's where you're at right now. Okay.
Speaking of always having some sort of burrito. But I don't know. That was just kind of like one of the things I was thinking about the other day. I'm like, it's always interesting to talk about, like, to people about their, not only what's your, I guess it's kind of like a guilty pleasure.
Sure,
when it comes down to, like, I don't really like to eat a lot of fast food, but when I do, it's usually Taco Bell.
So that's what I mean. Like, you know, and you we mentioned the other fast food places. Like, I don't go get fast food burgers very often, right? But when I do, like, I think Culver's is a great burger. I love the double burger. That's one of the only places I actually get a double burger, because I feel like that's the appropriate amount of burger to condiment ratio.
Yeah.
They get it just right. Like, the single is not enough burger. You know, but most places I don't get a double, because I feel like then it's too much meat.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like, it's all about, like, finding the right balance of all of it. Right. And Culver's does a smash burger, which I love, you know, and like when I go to Portillo's, it's the beef and hot dogs like that. They do the great beef and a great hot dog and stuff like that. But all their food is pretty good. But then you've even got that next level. Like, you said drive-through, but, like, let's say now we're talking about not a place where I don't go to a drive-through. Then you got that whole next level of fast food, you know, like Costa's or someplace like that, which is like, oh, that food's banging too. But I don't necessarily consider that fast food, but it is still kind of fast food, right? It's like that next level of fast food. It's like
quicker.
It's quicker food. It's not like a sit down kind of restaurant. I know it kind of is, I guess. But anyway, so that's why I had to clarify what you meant when you mean fast food. Because
I get it.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's a solid question. It's a fun conversation.
It's like that. And that type of thing, like, what's your favorite restaurant or what's your guilty pleasure? And then there's also, like, what is an oddly most used app on your phone? Like, IMDb oddly one of the more used apps on my phone.
Fair. That's fair.
It's so fucked
Yeah,
up.
especially if you're having a conversation with people.
Yeah.
Because then you don't have to remember all these people anymore. Yeah, you just look it up.
Antonio Banderas was not in The Rock. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. IMDb. Yeah. I don't even know like what would be one on mine.
Yeah.
That I don't. It's probably some work app.
I just happened to think of it the other day because I'm like, oh, I should probably update this app. Yeah. You know, of my 42 apps that need to be updated.
I know. Like if you looked at my app usage, it's probably like mail and calendar and then like messaging, photos, and then like Untapped.
Yeah.
It would be like
and
number 5. Or, Instagram, of course. Yeah. Right. So I don't know. It's probably like I don't know. I probably only use like 10 apps on my phone. But I have like 70, you know?
Me too. I feel like
every time I go to delete them too, I'm always like, well, I might need it, you know? So
yeah, I might need to hang on to that. I'll use it once in the next like month and that'll justify holding on.
Never know when I'll need that game again.
Exactly.
Could play it.
Angry Birds, man.
Maybe someday.
Oh, shit.
So we're drinking some beers.
We are drinking some beers and kind of the hangover from last night. Yeah, this past GBM.
Yep.
I did want to like point out that we did try that Freeside. I think it was called Freeside Bacchus barley wine that Sween brought.
Yeah.
Now, granted, you don't know what these beers taste like until you open them.
Right.
But this barley wine, especially American barley wines, generally do well with age on them. They can usually go for a very long time. The last time I opened up a 2010 Old Guardian from Stone, I was like, this could go for another 10 years.
They're pretty aggressive.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
So I expected this beer to be along those lines of like, okay, it's probably good. Because I think it was like 2014 or something. I don't remember how old it was. But I mean, this tasted awful. Like it was like pennies and cardboard. I mean, it tasted like drunk texting your ex at 2 a.m.
Oh, that's not good.
Really bad.
Yeah, it's just bad ideas.
I mean, if the new Snow White live action movie was a beer, this was it.
Did it tell itself that it was award winning? And
I'm pretty sure
it gave itself awards.
Yeah, the janitor's mop bucket probably tasted better than this. It was not good. I know you didn't try it.
I didn't try it.
Well, you're lucky.
Yeah. No, I was still drinking another beer and everybody's like, oh my God, this is terrible. I'm like, don't pour me any. I'm all set.
Yeah, I'm not rushing through this one because this one's good.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up to that point though, is like, you know, cellaring beer is great, but it's definitely an experiment.
Yeah.
You have to check in on your beers, but then, you know, just because it's a robust stout or it's a barley wine with a lot of hops or, you know, whatever it is, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to age over an exponential amount of time.
That's fair.
And, you know, we've seen with like Backwoods Bastard, I usually think that the 1 year to 2 year aged mark is about the best for that.
Yep.
Really good fresh, really good after some time, but then after that it starts dropping off.
Yeah. And we've talked about that with some other beers too. I mean, you just mentioned, you know, Backwoods, but KBS is another one too.
Yeah.
That like, you know, a couple years is really good. Mm-hmm. It's real, or at least some of the older ones we've had have been. But then it does start to kind of fall off after a while. So it kind of gets really good, and then it sort of it's not getting better. Let's just put it that way.
Right.
You know, it's not as bad. It just isn't getting better. So it's just going to start to slide after that.
I have seen some that yo-yo though.
No, okay.
Like 2010.
That's the year.
Right. So good. And even 2012. 2012s are really good.
But we say that now. But when we had 2010 last, I don't even know when that was. It was probably, 3 or 4 years ago? I mean,
something like that.
Yeah. So if we had 2010 now, I don't know.
It could be.
Well, it could be.
I mean, I remember opening up a 2012 BCS.
That was 14 years ago.
It was 14 years ago. Yeah, almost 15. Shit.
Right. So I don't know. You know, I don't know what that would be like now, but anyway.
It could be. I mean, it's still going to be a great beer.
Yeah, it's still going to taste fine.
You're going to lose some of the coffee notes. You might lose some of the chocolate, or maybe the chocolate's there. It's still going to be a good beer, but you're definitely...
It's not going to be what it was, though. No. And that's kind of what we're saying.
Yeah. So definitely check in on the beers that you're cellaring. That's all we're saying.
Fair.
Anyway, so tonight we're talking about New Glarus.
Mm-hmm. We just finished one.
We did.
So we just had the Wisconsin Belgian Red, which nobody does fruit beers quite like New Glarus, in my opinion. I mean, they've been doing them forever. these OG fruit beers, and they're just so good.
Well, and the Wisconsin Belgian Red and the like pretty much anything the Thumbprint series puts out with it. Ka-chow.
Ka-chow.
That's with a Q.
With a Q. Right.
They honestly do a fantastic job with any of those Thumbprint beers.
So tasty.
Even their R&D Thumbprint series was really good. They had a sour porter. Like, they just do a really good job with all of those. But right now we are drinking their flagship, I guess you could say, which is the Spotted Cow.
Here comes the hype.
Not gonna knock it. It's a good beer.
It's a good beer.
Do you know what style this is? Like, technically from the brewery, do you know what style of this is?
A wheat?
No, it's actually, and it actually says right here too, it's actually a farmhouse ale.
Oh, okay.
They label it as a hazy farmhouse ale.
Okay.
And I mean, it's kind of hazy.
It's a little hazy, I guess.
But when you think farmhouse, you think like maybe some
a little bit
horse blanket.
Yeah, a little bit tart.
Barnyardish.
Yeah, barnyardish.
Like,
sure.
More saison farmhouse than like this.
Yeah.
But you know what? Everybody loses their shit over this beer.
Yeah, definitely. And this is a lot of hype. A lot of hype.
So much hype. And everyone's like, oh, I got a bunch of Spotted Cow. I'm like, that's great.
Got a case of Spotted Cow.
Cool, man.
Sounds good.
Sounds like a personal problem, actually. But like,
yeah, you should see a doctor. You have a case of Spotted Cow.
I'm sorry. Is that
cook it to well? Okay, cook it to well done.
Hockey puck that shit.
Get some A1 sauce.
But I mean, this is one of those beers that everybody, like, if I go to Wisconsin, I went to the Brat Stop, I think, one time, decided while I was there, why not have a Spotted Cow? I'm here. You know, you can only get it in Wisconsin. Right. So might as well drink it while I'm in Wisconsin.
And we're lucky to be close to Wisconsin. So, I mean, New Glarus is not a hard beer, for us to get, which I actually am really thankful for, because we really do have fairly easy access to New Glarus beers.
Well, it's only an hour away.
Yeah, or if that.
Yeah, gas stations right across the border just have a shit ton of it.
They know all the Illinois people are driving up there to get it, and that's great.
Yep.
Yeah, know your customers, man.
Wisconsin.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, Sconsin.
Little Canada.
We're coming for cheese and brats and New Glarus, so yeah, we'll be there.
And if you go out far enough, you can actually see some pretty interesting stuff. It's almost like the South, but in the North. Like, I've driven past some stuff and I'm like, that's pure Sconsin right there.
It's true. You can get to some pretty weird areas of Wisconsin.
I remember this one guy went after me with a tire iron because I parked in the wrong place at a gas station.
Really?
I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah. Okay.
I think he probably had like 4 teeth too, but whatever. Wearing overalls. I'm like, you fit this.
To be just to be clear though, there's people like that everywhere.
Absolutely. Have you been to central to like southern Illinois?
I know. Exactly. Right. Once you get out of the Chicago area, Illinois gets a little like that too.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I saw one of those guys downtown Chicago yesterday.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I've heard a lot of people describe this beer as a cream ale. Okay. And it's, obviously it's not. I actually did the research before. I didn't even look on the can, but I did the research on New Glarus' site, and they do call it a hazy farmhouse ale, which I guess I can kind of pick up some of that, like as I'm drinking it, but it's
real gentle though. Yes. If it is a farmhouse, it's very soft, but
it's extremely soft. It's definitely more on the side of kind of a sweeter, more creamy mouthfeel.
Yeah.
Farmhouse ales generally tend to be a little bit more peppery.
That's why I kind of felt like I got a little bit of Hefe vibe to it.
Yeah, a little bit.
In a way, I get a little bit of that clovey kind of.
Now that I'm kind of like drinking through it, especially having something that was sweet and sugary.
Very sweet, yeah.
Now it's taken all of that out of there, and I'm getting most of the rest of like the body of the beer. It does have some of that like banana esters, clovey kind of like. I don't want to say Belgian yeast kind of thing going on, but it's there.
Yeah.
It is very refreshing. I mean, especially on a summer day. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can crush a ton of these things.
Yeah.
Would I go as wild over it as a lot of people are, or think it's as special as a lot of people do? Not really.
Right.
And I could be jaded. I could just be completely off my rocker in saying that. But at the same time, I feel like there's so many other beers out there that are like more hype worthy.
Mm-hmm.
And New Glarus, especially when it comes down to their offerings, so many other beers that I would reach for.
So that's actually true. And one of the things I like to say about New Glarus in general is that there are a few of their beers that I actually don't like. Mm-hmm. And I always say it's definitely me, not them, because their beers are pretty much all great. They are. And I'm not I'm not a fanboy necessarily. Like, there are definitely breweries that I think, I get pretty hyped about, mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. And I wouldn't say that theirs is one of them, but their beers are very, very good. Almost all of them are really solid. And I can almost always just guarantee if I open that beer, I'm going to like it, no matter what it is, And right. So some of theirs are just like we said, the fruited beers are great. The ones that popped into my mind are like that chocolate stout they do.
Oh, yeah.
It's just so good.
So good.
It's just such a treat. Every time I get to have that beer, it's so good.
And it's almost like a milk chocolate. Like
it is.
It's such a good beer.
It is. It's not bitter at all. It's like a rich, sweet milk chocolate flavor. And it's a thin beer. It's not a heavy beer at all.
Well, I don't think it's an imperial stout.
It's not an imperial stout. Yeah. It's just a regular stout, and so tasty. And they go on and on. Like beers like that they do that are just fantastic. So this one and Moon Man both, I don't get into necessarily the hype on either one of those beers. But I think I get it. I think the fact that they do a good job of limiting their distribution and keeping the hype. And so I will give them props for that.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's easy for us to get it. But once, when I talk to friends that live in other areas of the country, they still want it. They still want it. They still love it. They Absolutely. Still get all pumped up and hyped about it. And so, kudos to them for being able to keep that going. I think one of the things that I find frustrating about New Glarus is that I've never been able to go to New Glarus because I have a job.
And that's changed drastically. When I was there, I feel like I actually was able to go sometime on a weekend. Now, that was also pre-COVID and a couple of years prior to
COVID kind of messed all of that up.
But I remember getting to New Glarus, and they had just opened their new facility that's up on a hill. Like, I got to their old facility, and then, nobody was there. And so then I figured out that it was up the hill, got there. It's a self-guided tour. So you don't really go on a tour. But the cool thing is the grounds, it's almost like it's built on an old castle grounds, because there's a little bit of ruins everywhere, and there's different elevations, and you can go hiking through it, and there's beer bars outside. It's a really cool place, but they're open from 8 to 4 Monday
weekdays.
Monday through Friday.
Right.
Do you not want people visiting your brewery?
Right. It's what's with the banker's hours?
Who the hell does that?
Right. Yeah. I don't need to cash a check. I'd really like to go when I could drink a beer, which would be after work
And again, it's a self-guided tour. So it's not like you have to have a bunch of staff there. Get people in there selling merch. Get people in there just making sure that people aren't burning the place down.
Sure.
And then have people running the bar. Everybody else, it's almost like a weird cattle call, because you get your beer and then you go roaming around outside. No one's chewing their cud or anything, but I don't know. It's just, there's so much space out there, and it's such a beautiful thing because you're on a hill and you can oversee everything. It
sounds great.
It's cool, but man, you have to have nothing to do.
Yeah. It's hey, New Glarus, don't make me take off of work to go buy your beer. I mean, I need my job so I can buy the beer, But yeah, no, I'd love to go. I'd love to go and see it, but I haven't been able to go. So
yeah, it's unfortunate.
It is, but I great beer. I think, like I said, I do give them props for, being able to keep the hype. I would imagine there's been some questions, that they've wrestled with about whether to go broader with their distribution. They obviously haven't.
I honestly don't think that they're going to.
It's been working,
and
for them.
I remember back, I'm pretty sure we might have even touched on Zombie Dust at one point. Mm-hmm. But they've got this product that everybody went apeshit over, and everybody that was selling it got a case of it, and you had to be tracking down the trucks every day that it was getting delivered to pick up a 6-pack.
Right. You had to chase it.
That's wild because now it's everywhere.
It's just, yeah.
Floyd's is completely saturated the market and everything. But I think that New Glarus stain Wisconsin, like it says boldly on the top of this can, only in Wisconsin.
I mean, they literally signed the can that way. Daniel and Deborah Carey, it says only in Wisconsin, comma.
Yeah.
That's how they sign it.
Sconsin.
Yeah. Sincerely yours, only in Wisconsin. So.
And you know what? It's working for them because I'm pretty sure that there are droves of people that will drive in from Minnesota, Iowa, even from Indiana and Illinois that will go in and pick it up. Because I just think about like Daisy Cutter when like that was first a big thing.
Sure.
When I was heavily trading on Beer Advocate, everybody either wanted Daisy Cutter or were so happy to get Daisy Cutter as like an extra. And now it's not nearly as a big deal as it used to be.
Sure.
But you throw New Glarus into something like that and everybody is like super stoked about it.
And I do. Like so every once in a while I have some friends that I'll swap beers with or trade beers with or even just send. Like I've got a buddy that, I send every BCS, he'll want a prop or something because, we're here in Chicago and, so I'll send him a prop.
I got plenty from this year.
I did send him
all of them.
One, but I didn't buy that. I didn't buy that many this year.
I ended up with that.
My love of barley wines is somewhat known, but anyway, I sent him a barley wine and then right next to it,
talk about a beer that tastes like bad decisions.
Anyway, but then, and I sent him a New Glarus beer in there too as a surprise, because it's, he's not from around here. So here's a prop. And here's a New Glarus beer. What says, a box of beer from David more than a prop and a New Glarus beer? Here you go. Like that's just what you're going to get from me, I guess, if you.
And to kind of go back to some of like the New Glarus beers that really stand out more to me, Spotted Cow being, its own kind of, its own thing.
Yeah.
It's almost like Dragon's Milk of New Holland. Like it's its own thing at this point.
Yeah.
But Two Women Lager, excellent beer. Dancing Man Wheat, awesome.
Yep.
I think Fat Squirrel.
Fat Squirrel's a brown.
It's a brown.
It's a very good brown.
Not too many people make brown ales anymore.
I know.
That's a great one.
It's a great beer. I actually just had one just a couple weeks ago.
I mean, Sweem loses his shit over the Staghorn Oktoberfest.
Yeah. He always brings that one to the Oktoberfest.
I think it's fine.
Yeah, it's good. I think it's a great example. Like I said, they don't really do a bad beer generally. So again, solid beer. So, really enjoy it.
Don't hate on it, but then there's stacks of this shit at the Woodman's in Kenosha.
The Woodman's, just over the border.
Yeah.
It's got a lot of New Glarus beer.
I mean, it's basically...
And they're busy.
Always.
Every time I go in there, they are slammed.
It's a shit show.
It is.
And it's just stacks on stacks on stacks.
It's all those Illinois weirdos like me.
Absolutely.
And I'm going by there. Gotta stop.
Might as well
stop.
Pick up a bunch of New Glarus and you're like, you got any of that Blanton's back there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, their liquor store's impressive actually. But yeah, no, it's true. It's good. It's all good stuff. So what else was a good topic from GBM this week?
Nothing was like a major standout. We weren't really looking to do that. Mm-hmm. Buffet brought that crafted mead. I think was probably the last one that we opened before you guys took off.
Their meads are
crazy good mead. But we didn't really talk about much else. I mean, we've got that trip coming up, and that's pretty much the only other thing that we kind of discussed. But
that should be a good topic for when you guys get back. I know I'm not going, but
I know that, and it sucks.
It does suck because I really would love to go, but I've got some other stuff going on, so I'm not going to be able to do that. But
for those of you who, for everyone who's not in the loop, which is pretty much everybody, we're going to St. Louis. We're going to hit Upside Project and a bunch of different breweries down there. Not this weekend, but next weekend, the first weekend in April. So we'll be discussing some of that stuff and probably having some St. Louis beers here.
So anybody who's going to be in St. Louis the first weekend in April, keep an eye out for the GBM crew because pretty much everybody's going to be there. If there's a tragedy and everybody goes, then it's just me. and I'll be the only person left from GBM.
You will. You'll have to start your own. You'll have to grow it again.
I'll have to start GBM all over again with just me.
Just plant a side project bottle in the ground, and I'm pretty sure
all the GBM people will grow out of the ground, right? Anyway, so hopefully that won't happen. But anyway, you know what I did do for GBM? I brought those Jelly Belly jelly beans that were classic cocktail flavored.
Classic cocktail jelly beans.
Yes, they were. What was it? We had a
gin and tonic.
There was a strawberry daiquiri. There was a pina colada.
Margarita.
There was a Moscow Mule.
There were 6 of them.
There was, what was the last one? Oh, I don't know.
Must have been that forgetful.
Yeah, right. It wasn't an old fashioned because I would have remembered that.
That would have been good.
That would have been cool. Yeah. Cherry and orange is all it would have been. But anyway.
And they were fine.
They were fine.
I mean, I like the gin and tonic, and the margarita was probably the best one.
Yeah. And the strawberry daiquiri was just a strawberry one. So.
Yeah.
But in general, yeah, they were fine. They were just jelly beans.
But wasn't anything that I would like write home about or seek out. But it was definitely fun.
It was just fun, you know. So anyway, you come across those. Jelly Belly classic cocktail flavored jelly beans.
No earwax on that one.
No.
It's not birdie bots,
no
flavored beans.
Vomit flavored. No. That comes after.
Who the fuck is coming up with these? Like, who is reaching what vomit tastes like?
What does vomit taste like?
I mean, we all kind of have an idea.
Accurate.
We've all thrown up before.
Well, but it all there's lots of variables when you taste vomit. It's really about what did you eat previously. So, you know,
true.
There's just a lot of variables. You know, could be really almost anything.
Do they have like a Saturday night bender vomit?
Exactly. Right.
The Technicolor yawn. That'd be so gross.
What was your Taco Bell order?
Wow.
Yeah. So, all right. Yeah.
Should we wrap this?
I think we should wrap this. Yeah. Okay.
It's been good.
Yeah. So this is it for this episode. New Glarus and
pure Sconsin.
Yeah. Hopefully I get to visit. I'd love to go up and check out the farm. So,
well, maybe when you're on spring break, you can go.
Anyway, thanks for joining us. If you've got comments or feedback, please leave it. Like and follow and all that good stuff. And thanks for watching or listening. And let's have a beer sometime.